Welcome to the Peak City Podcast.
Apex's community service broadcast, serving you since 2016. We're your host, Nick Bryant.
And I'm Heather Taylor Petrovich. And today on our show, we're going to talk about...
Today we have Tom Caldwell featured from Apex Public Art Committee and some local Apex news.
And I'm going to do neighborhood knowledge, which I'm going to do every time, introducing you to some neighborhoods in the area, talking to some neighbors, seeing how they like living here, and giving you the lowdown. So let's get started with some of your stuff.
Hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. I am Nick Bryant, and welcome to this portion of the Peak City Podcast. Today, I want to start off talking about Apex's affordable housing plan. With so much development in Apex, many members of council have asked for more affordable housing from developers. Affordable housing is not necessarily subsidized, but is typically apartments, townhomes, and houses that fall below the median house cost. Because Apex has no baseline written into its UDO, they need input. So please take a few minutes to take the survey and give your input. You can do that at publicinput.com/affordable housing. Additionally, if you have any questions, you can contact Shannon Cox at the Town of Apex, 919-249-3426. Just a reminder, the Apex Farmers Market is still operating in a socially distant manner by pre-selling and then picking up on Saturday mornings. You can make your pre-purchases at apexfarmersmarket.com. If you've driven Salem Street recently, you've noticed the barriers. This is a parking to dining initiative brought forth by the Apex Downtown Business Association and the town, with the idea that the more people dining will then shop at the retailers. So please visit downtown and support all of them. Recently, I spoke with Tom Caldwell, who heads up the Apex Public Art Committee. He and I spoke of the exciting projects coming up, so let's take a listen. Today, we are speaking with Tom Caldwell of the Apex Public Art Committee. Thanks so much for joining us, Tom. I'd like to see if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Apex Public Art Committee and what they do and how it started 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'd love to, Nick. First of all, it's great to be here with you today. I'm really excited about this movement in public art and being able to give back to the community and kind of create something new as well for the town. I've been here in Apex for about 25 years. My wife and I have been very active in the community. We have 3 children that went through the schools here, have been very active as well, and they're grown now. So it's a kind of a different world for us. And I've been throwing a lot of time into this public art committee and the activities that we've got going on. So as you said, we've been around for about 3 years, actually a little less, only been about 2.5 years. And we first focused on putting the building blocks in place, working with the town itself on a policy and public art maps, and working with developers to see what they could do as well to contribute to the community in a kind of artful way. And so that's the way we've gotten started. But we're excited about some of the new projects that we have on tap as well.
That's great, Tom. As everyone around us is trying to figure out how to manage 2020 in their given lives, Apex Public Art Committee has been successful with its start thanks to the hard work of its committee and council's prior approval for this fiscal year. With that, Tom, do you want to talk a little bit about the some of the current and future projects that Apexians can look forward to?
Yeah, sure. Something that we've done every year, and it's kind of a simple thing, but we feel like it's been something that the community has rallied around, is our annual holiday window painting that we've done downtown in Salem Street. We've worked with the local high schools on that. So it's a nice partnership with the youth in the community, and as well to do something for our downtown. So we hope to do that again with COVID. Things change a little bit on how we can do these type of things, but we really hope to do that as well. We've also got just recently painted a few banners to be installed and kind of draped over the barriers that are in downtown to help enliven that space a little bit and to make it not look quite so much like a construction zone, right? And put a little kind of temporary art in that way downtown as well. We've also just recently painted a couple of the manholes along the Beaver Creek Greenway One of the members of our committee is also a local artist, and so under his guidance, a couple of us went down there and have been able to kind of improve that space as well. Got a lot of great feedback from the people walking along the trails and in those communities that live along that greenway. We've only done a couple of those so far. We hope to do a few more. Originally, that was slated to be a project involving the community. Again, with COVID, that's kind of changed that dynamic.
Right.
But we still hope to do that in some way, of course, safely, but to continue that project. What that is it also, what we're using is kind of native plant life and flowers to decorate the manholes. So they're all kind of a North Carolina tie-in as well along the Greenway. A couple of the bigger projects that we've got in the works is we've got a mural that's coming to the Apex Public Works building. Actually, we'll be presenting that at the next town council meeting in August. And once we get their approval, then we can move forward with the final stages of that mural. So we're really looking forward to that. That'll be just a terrific addition to the community. That's right along Route 55, so it'll be highly visible and something that I think will really get people excited and be a place where people want to take photos and that type of thing. And then another big project that we've got on the horizon, a little further out for next spring, is something we're calling the Apex Art Walk. And this is a sculpture show where we bring in sculptors to put their work on display around the town. And what that will do is tie downtown to Hunter Street Park to the town campus. So it'll be a nice walkable kind of tour people can take and enjoy, several beautiful pieces of art and something that, again, is something you can do outside. And so it kind of works with the situation we're in now. Hopefully it won't still be around in the spring, but even if it is, something that we feel like we can do and get done, again, for the community.
Those are all really, really exciting projects coming up. And I hope that Apex citizens find them equally exciting. I'm sure most, if not all of them, will be very fun to interact and see and just keep people excited to walk around and see everything around town.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for, and again, it kind of spark other ideas as well. So we're really open to hear what people have to say, what they like, what they don't like as well, and and ways we can adjust going forward to make sure we're inspiring the community, meeting their needs, making them just kind of look at different things around Apex maybe in a different way, and just get excited about the arts.
I heard you touch on this a little bit when you referred to the art walk. What's the Public Art Committee's plans to make its projects a destination for people not living here? Make it more of a tourist destination, or there's so many communities that surround us that pull people in from the aspect of just engaging with their public art.
Yeah, we believe that this can help do that as well. These projects, especially maybe some of the the larger projects like the art walk, as you say. We do have social media today, and we're just starting kind of in that area, but we'll start to publish more on Instagram and Facebook. So please look us up out there, Apex Public Art. But it'd be great to get some more followers and some people to again provide us thoughts and input through that media as well. What we also hope to do is use the marketing kind of arm of the town as well. And so we do have a place on a website. If you go to the town's website, you can look up the Public Art Committee and find some information about us there. And we certainly will publish and kind of push for some of those bigger projects that we've got coming up.
Thank you very much, Tom. I guess the last question is for our citizens of Apex, how can they help you and become more involved with Apex Public Art?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's really what it's all about, right? Is hearing from the people and see what they like and what they want to do and what they want to help be involved with. Again, we hope with the COVID situation, we can work around that in some ways. Instead, that has slowed us down a little bit with some of the interaction with the public, but that Beaver Creek Greenway might be a way we can do that if we can get that kind of working there. But just more from a communication perspective, you can certainly go to the town's website. And if you do look up Apex Public Art Committee, there's a link there to send us a direct email. And so myself and the other 6 members of the committee see those and we respond to all of those. So that's helpful for us to get input in that way. And then also when we do have a larger project, we put it out for public input. So when the mural project, as an example, when we had the design for that, we put that out in the public realm and we received input from citizens in Apex and we took that into consideration. I've modified the design slightly based on that input. And we'll bring that forward to the town council in early August for approval. So there's a number of different ways to connect with us, and we love to hear from people because, again, it just gives us new ideas and different things to think about and different ways to bring something special to Apex.
And additionally, for any committees that are Apex and town-sponsored committees like the Apex Public Art Committee, when those positions do come open, they can certainly apply for those on the town's website.
That's absolutely correct. So again, there's 7 members that are citizens. We're all have other jobs and other things going on in our lives, so we're volunteers. We make time for this, but we're all on 3-year terms, and those are a rolling cycle. So every year, 2 or 3 of those roll off. And then there'll be opportunities that open up for new people to come in, which is terrific. We added a new member this year. It's just, right away, you just get new ideas and just a different perspective. So it's a great way to, again, kind of keep it fresh, keep the ideas churning, and to get, different points of view and different interests as we continue to develop what is still a very early and young program.
Again, Tom, thanks for being with us today.
Nick, I really appreciate the opportunity and I appreciate your interest and your support of our program, which you've been terrific. Town has been terrific as well. I can't say enough about how supportive they've been and the council's been also for Apex Public Art. So we're really hoping to, really push forward this year with some terrific new projects and more in the future.
Thanks everyone for listening. You can go to the town's website, apexnc.org, and find Apex Public Art there and get involved the best way that you find possible. Thanks so much.
Now to Heather with Neighborhood Knowledge.
Hey everybody, welcome to Neighborhood Knowledge with me, Heather Taylor Petrovich. Today I am introducing you to one of my favorite neighborhoods in Apex, and that is the Villages of Apex. Let's talk a little bit about where it's located. The Villages of Apex is located less than 1 mile from historic downtown Apex, which is like, as you guys all know, the cutest little downtown in the world. And across the street from Hunter Street Park, which includes things like the skate park, the dog park, baseball field, pavilion if you're into like having picnics out there. And there's also like a lacrosse field and a little track that runs around the whole park. So it's really, the location of the Villages of Apex is just primo. The number of homes, there's a little under 400 in the northern section of the Villages of Apex, and then across the Apex Peakway, there's another 272 townhomes. So you've kind of got the neighborhood split into 2 sections on each side of the Peakway. Let's talk a little bit about the amenities, and the amenities, again, awesome in this neighborhood. You have a really beautiful pool with a 0 entry portion, so if you've got young children, for example, it's a great spot to hang out. You can sit there and they can play in the very shallow water. There's a clubhouse, which the HOA uses for a lot of different fun events for the whole community, or you can rent it out and use it on your own. And inside the clubhouse, there's a little gym and a yoga room, so it's a really, really nice facility. There's also walking trails, paved walking trails throughout the neighborhood, and a stocked pond if you're into fishing, if that's your jam. You're going to love it. There's also a small pocket park within the northern side of the neighborhood. So between a couple of the streets and the median, there's a little park. It's really cute. And then finally, one of the really awesome things is there is a brewery. Southern Peak Brewery is located right in the neighborhood. It's not technically a neighborhood amenity. Your HOA dues don't pay for it. However, it's really sweet to have a brewery which brings in a food truck every day located right in the neighborhood. As far as types of homes, pretty cool. There's a huge variety of types of homes in the Villages of Apex. You have everything from smaller townhomes with no garage to larger townhomes with garages, and then ranch style homes. So if you're looking for single story living, which is pretty hard to find right now, There are some homes like that. There's Charleston style homes, and then there's also larger single family homes and custom homes. So the price point is huge. You've got everything from the high 200s up to over 600,000 in this neighborhood. Oh, let me also mention the age of the homes in this neighborhood. Now, some of the homes were built as far back as around 2008 time period. And then, as we all know, the economy slowed down and building slowed down. And then things really picked up here in the Villages of Apex somewhere around 2012. And they kind of took off from there. So there's even today some townhomes still being built, but most of the community is all built out. So you've got homes built in the neighborhood as far back as 2008 and then as recently as 2020. So that gives you kind of the lay of the land of what the Villages of Apex is like, where it's located, how many houses, how much they cost. Now let's chat with some neighbors and see what they think about living here. So I am here in the Villages of Apex with two people who live here. This is Don and Mary Jo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Want to tell me a little bit about when you moved here and where you came from?
Well, we moved here from Cary about 7 years ago.
Long way.
Long way from Cary, but we moved here because we wanted to downsize to a larger house and find a house that fit our needs better than the house we lived
Which
in.
we did. We ended up downsizing to a larger house.
You downsized to a larger house. So that wasn't you didn't misspeak. You
No,
literally
we did, yeah. That's right.
downsized to a larger house. So what made you decide on the Villages of Apex?
Well, one of the reasons we really like the area and one of our favorite things is the walkability.
Okay.
So, I mean, first and foremost, we can walk to a brewery right in the neighborhood,
Right here,
so
yeah.
that's a nice perk. But we can also walk downtown Apex very easily. We'll go down on Saturday to the farmer's market or go out to eat or just exercise, you know, do the big loop, come down Center Street and come down Apex Speedway. It's a great place to
So you
walk.
don't ever really have to get in your car?
No.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess probably for grocery shopping.
Well, no, you can actually walk to some grocery stores. We've got two grocery stores that are going to be walking distance. So, yeah,
That's right, because they're putting in a Lidl,
right.
and you have a food line
Food
less
line,
than a
yeah.
mile.
That's very
Absolutely.
well.
So the location is amazing. All right, so tell me three things now that you've lived here. You said for how many years?
7.
7 years. So now you're accustomed to the place. What are three things that you guys love about living here?
Well, we like the proximity, as we
Mhm.
mentioned. The walkability is nice, but the proximity, not only to downtown Apex, but also we can be in downtown Raleigh in 15 minutes,
Right. So
which is
easy to get
it's
to.
just a really great location. Whereas
great
we
point.
were just 5-7 minutes down the road, you know, in our prior house, but this has just been a really good corner to be able to.
And it's even
get
convenient to
anywhere.
get to Durham, too. It's easy to get on 540 and get right up to Durham to go to, you know, the DPAC or any other shows and so forth that's going up there and over downtown Raleigh.
So you're central within Apex, but you're also
Absolutely.
central within the triangle.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Uh-huh.
All right, what's another
Yeah.
thing you love?
Well, you know, I like the railroad theme that we have here in the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
You know, our neighborhood sits between two rail lines. Our streets are named after rail, such as Tender Drive and Boxcar Way and Platform Drive and so forth. So it's kind of had a whole sort of the theme of the neighborhood, but it's also the reason why Apex is here. Railroads are the center point of Apex. Apex is called Apex because of the railroads. So it just kind of helps us tie in our neighborhood with the community.
That is
He's
really
He's always said it's the rhythm of the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
I love that point because if anyone's watched any of my prior videos, I did say that the trains were maybe a downside, that people get concerned about living here because of that. But your take on it is you've loved it from the start.
Absolutely, because like as Mary just said, it is the rhythm of the neighborhood. You hear the trains go by, and they're not bad, but it kind of sets the tone when the Amtrak goes by in the morning, and the Amtrak comes by in the evening. You kind of know that's just part of the neighborhood. And like I said, it's better that Apex is called Apex than Log Mall.
Yeah, well, it's Apex, right? Because it's the high point of the train
It's the
system.
highest point on the railroad.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's two. What's your one other thing that you guys love about living here?
Well, we chose the neighborhood too for the style of housing. We love that it's kind of set up like a village. There's a lot of first floor masters. A lot of neighborhoods around the area with the first floor masters, they're all the same on the outside, whereas we have the great front porches and the back porch, and so you don't really know what's inside. It's all different, so we love that. And along with the style, it brings different age groups to that. You got the people like us who this is going to be our forever home,
Uh-huh.
and then first home buyers and people with kids. So it's a great mix.
That's an awesome point. You have a mix of types of homes and types of people and price points and all that. Well, I think we've got a lot of things that you like about the neighborhood. Is there anything that you would change about the neighborhood?
I think probably the one thing that we would change is the amount of parking that's on the streets. There's folks, park their cars on the streets. We live in a neighborhood that has alleys, and so the neighborhood is designed where you have garages in the back with an alleyway. So I just think it'd be nice if people would, park in that spaces and not on the street. And kind of when you do that, it opens up the flow of the neighborhood, opens up it doesn't feel so clogged.
Yeah.
Well, and because of that, it's easy to stop in front of the design of the homes. It's easier to stop in the front of your house and
Unlike
take your groceries out, and sometimes the cars just remain there.
Yeah.
So.
And it gets a little congested.
Right. But we were told of that when we moved in, that this is set up like a village, and with villages you have parking. So we chose to accept that, but some people may not care for that.
So you must be people. You must be the kind of people that like people.
Oh, absolutely. I think you definitely need to in this neighborhood, because if you're going to cut your small patch of lawn, it's not going to take 5 minutes. It's going to take 20 minutes because you talk to about 20 neighbors.
So you find the neighbors pretty friendly?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They are very friendly and so forth. And when we live within 6 feet of each other, we have to be friendly. But everybody's out walking, and like I said, the nice thing about villages is there's now sidewalks, and people out walking their dog or exercising or riding their bikes. So there's a lot of interaction.
A lot of people are out. Which
Yeah.
is great.
And I've seen you guys, just out doing some happy hours and meeting new neighbors through the COVID thing. So
Right.
It's almost like you can't say enough good things about the neighborhood.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I really appreciate y'all taking the time to chat with me about the hood. And I will be sure to get a copy of this out to you so you can see the whole show.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks a lot, y'all.
And that's our show. Thanks for watching.
We'll catch you next month. Bye-bye.
Reach up, little baby.